Right, in this video we are going to look at our point light, the light bulb, and we're going to build a little light like this that will enable us to have a kind of a soft shadow coming from a very diffuse lampshade like this. So let's load that up and set it up in our scene. So let's put a point light. So just briefly about the point lights in general, the same thing, movable, static, or stationary. I'm going to put this one movable for now. And it's got the attenuation the same as the spotlight, except this is attenuation in the form of a sphere like this. Also using inverse square fall off, and the same general settings as the spotlight generally. So pretty straightforward. Just to say that in terms of lighting for the space, this gives a very white, very flat light, and it's the equivalent of having a dangling light bulb from the middle of your room. So although maybe it's a good idea to have this to set it up and to kind of give you a good idea of what to give a good illumination to be able to see everything, in terms of lighting design, it's probably one of the worst things we could do. So let me hide my outer box here so that we can look into the space. So I wouldn't recommend this to light, if we wanted to light this artificially. Maybe we could have some downlighters and we'd use spotlight, or like we've done before, the kind of hero lighting, so we'd have one spotlight. The Omnilight or the point light is not great for lighting the spaces. Maybe I would use it on a very low setting, so that it's hardly visible, and to add a little bit of lighting to this space. But then you can see that the light source is visible in the specular highlights here on the wall and that little dot on the sphere. So it will really give away the trick here. So let's bring in our standing light, and we can see how to build that together. So I've just prepared this light earlier. It's got a very simple material, a glossy black with zero roughness for the stand, and we've got this self-illuminated material, an emissive material with some slight modification here in the blend mode. I've set that to translucent, and the shading model to subsurface. And there's a 3 parameters here to play around in the viewport. Okay, so pretty simple stuff. Opacity is set halfway. Emissive is above 1, so that it starts glowing, and then the color up to you. Okay, so let's add the point light. So the point light, quickly, is a very versatile light. Obviously it mimics a bare light bulb, so it's not the greatest in terms of lighting design. There are still the same attenuation radius that is worth always tweaking, the color obviously and intensity, and apart from that the rest is pretty much similar to what we've got in the spotlight, so pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to place that inside my lamp. I'm actually going to go to the top view to put that right in the middle, over there, and back to perspective. So that's looking fine. I'm really happy with the effect. Here it's looking like the light is really bright, and it looks like the lampshade is giving out this this illumination. So that works well. Maybe I can turn it down a bit, and in fact I'm going to put it on 70, 100, and then maybe reduce the fall off as well. So that's a bit more visible, a bit less washed out than we had it before. So that's fine. The only thing here that is beginning to give us a little bit of is this shadow. So by the way, I've just seen a little preview here. I'm setting that on movable again. We see that this shadow is quite unrealistic compared to what we would normally have for this kind of diffuse lampshade. So let's try and soften the shadow to give us the kind of effect that a lampshade like this would give. Okay. So very simply, we just go back to our shadow map resolution scale, and instead of sharpening it, we want to soften it. So I'm just going to bring that right down to maybe 0.15, so I can see that our shadow has disappeared completely. If I move both the light, maybe we'll see it reappear. You see, so we've got effectively some self-shadowing problem because we've brought our resolution way down. So for that, I'm going to change the bias, and you'll see that hopefully the shadow will come back into its own with these kinds of values. So they're very low values, 0.025 here, but it is much closer to the kind of shadow that would be emitted from this kind of lampshade, a very diffuse shadow. It's a lot more realistic than our very harsh shadows. Okay, so that's the kind of the result that I would be expecting, and I hope that's useful.